Check one, check two. Can you hear us? Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check. Let me know when we got to confirm, Shay. And you still can check your messages.
All right, they're live. I just talked to Spalding. They're live. You're coming in a little bit of static, just a little bit of static. Say something again.
Mic check, mic check.
All right, that sounds better.
Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me?
Mic check, Spalding. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, and Shay, have you checked your messages?
Yep, I called her.
Okay. All righty, let's get ready to get started. All right. Number one, Shay, let me just make sure that I either bring my volume up or bring my volume down.
You need to bring your volume down. Your volume is a little bit static.
Too high? Okay, got it. 1 second.
Too high. The sensitivity is way too high.
Mic check, mic check.
That sounds. Say something. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
way better.
2, 1.
Yep, way better.
Okay, got it. And we are officially broadcasting live. Shay, if you want to pin that to the top of the Facebook group, that will work before we go ahead and get started. By the way, those of you guys who are tuning in live right now, this is a simulcast. So, yes, for those of you who are on the conference call, congratulations. Welcome to the call. But there are also people joining us live via video going to BlackCEOTribe.com. They're going over to BlackCEOTribe.com. Why? Because today you are in for a treat. Today you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat where not only is this call being broadcast via the conference call, but it's also being broadcast via video so that you guys can share in the slides and the workbooks related to today's special 9-day. That's right, 9-day challenge. Today marks the beginning. Today marks the beginning of what? Today marks the beginning of the BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. Everybody, go over to BlackCEOTribe.com and put in, go ahead, put this in right now, put in BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. Put in BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. Shay, I'll wait to hear from you. When you tell me that we got everything all pinned to the top, we'll be ready to rock and roll.
I'm pinning to the top. It was on your page, so give me a second, my man. Give me a second. So I had to go over there to find it. Give me a second. Just let them go ahead and introduce themselves in 10 seconds here while I'm doing this.
Okay.
I got this here.
By the way, I would be remiss if I did not introduce also our special guest doing this 9-day challenge. None other than the incomparable E.R. Spalding. E.R., introduce yourself to the people because we get ready to throw down for the next 9 days. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm going to throw down. I don't know about you. I don't know if you're going to throw down. I don't know about you, Shay. I don't know if you're going to throw down. But I do know one thing. Today is the BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. And do you have the courage and do you have the commitment to claim your breakthrough? If that's you, go to BlackCEOTribe.com and put hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. Over to you, ER.
Well, I am happy to be here. Good morning, Shay. Good morning, Trevor, and everyone that is out there in Black CEO Nation. As Trevor and Shay stated, we are here and about to throw down because it's really about having the question answered. Do you have what it takes? I don't know, Trevor, do they have what it takes? If you have what it takes, go ahead and go BlackCEOTribe.com and put in, I have what it takes, because we are going to be creating some revenue breakthroughs in this special 9-part training. So my name, for those of you who may not know me, is E.R. Spalding, and I am the founder of Black Woman Startup, where we support career-minded women from moving from their career to their calling without starting over. Yep, you heard me, without starting over. So I'm happy to be here this morning. Hello, Bear. Hello, Robert. Hello, Keisha. Hello, Felton. Everybody on the Black CEO Morning Show. We are excited to be here. And as Trevor stated, it's about to go down. So are you ready? Let us know that you're ready. Back over to you, Trevor.
All right. So here's what I want everybody to do. First thing I want everybody to do, this is what we do the roll call. By the way, ER, I'm just over to the Black CEO group. I'm posting a video there, so give me just a second.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding it, Trevor.
Don't worry, I already found the Shay. I'm already 2 steps ahead of you. I got it. Shay, I'll turn it over to you so you can do the roll call.
All right.
And then we'll
so for those folks that are checking in, I see what it is. We got to get them approved into the group. So use the hashtag. Go over right now to BlackCEOTribe.com. Oops, I see what's going on. We got to let them in there. So we got Loretta. Hey, Loretta, welcome aboard to the Revenue Challenge. D. Wilkins, welcome aboard. She said, Black CEO Revenue Challenge. I have what it takes. I believe you, by the way. Sylvia Wilson, hey, hello, great to connect with you. Says, Black CEO Revenue Challenge. I have what it takes. Thanks for joining. Claire says, I have what it takes. That's Claire Lymans. Hey, Claire, thanks for joining. Meredith Brown is in the house, says, I have what it takes. I believe you, by the way. Vanessa Collins. Vanessa's in the house. Well, you bring out the all-stars are always on the Black CEO Morning Show. This is the place to be. Vanessa Collins says, Black CEO Revenue Challenge. Thanks a lot for joining. And if you want to know what's going on, you want to know where we're recognizing folks, if you want to know what action is taking place, head on over to www.blackceotribe.com. Again, blackceotribe.com, and write those words, Revenue Challenge. Hashtag Revenue Challenge. I have.
Jay, that's Black CEO Revenue Challenge, not Revenue Challenge. It's a special kind of challenge, Jay. Let's never be comfortable with taking the word black off something. We Black CEO, we Black entrepreneurs, we Black leaders, we Black visionaries, and this ain't just a revenue challenge. This is the Black CEO Revenue Challenge. Let's keep it black, y'all. Back over to you, Shay.
That is so true. I love it. So go over there now to BlackCEOTribe.com, BlackCEOTribe.com, and use the hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. Ngazi, I see you. Ngazi's over there joining right now. Some of you need to be accepted in. I see you trying to get in right now. Let me do that. Let me do two things at one time. I can do that, by the way, because that's one thing we can do as Black CEOs. We can do two things at one time. I'm going to go and let a number of you who are waiting to get in the group. So, Shalane, welcome. Sheila Tyson, welcome. Tiffany Braxton, welcome to the group. Amber Woods, it's always a pleasure. Solonda Smith, welcome to the group. Carolyn Barnes, welcome to the group. Bettina Hunt, welcome to the group. Lonea, welcome to the group. Michael Bart Matthews, welcome to the group. Kevin, welcome to the group. Joanna Lee, welcome to the group. Now, if you headed over to BlackCEOTribe.com and you're like, hey, I'm not a member of the group, what does it take to be a member of the group? Today, right now as you hear my voice, you can go ahead and just hit the button to join the group. And today you will be accepted into the group. There's no cash app needed, by the way, Trevor. No cash app needed today. There's no wire payments needed, no credit card. You can become a member of the BlackCEOTribe.com. Now, what do you need to do? You can see us, but we can't see you. Or many of you are listening right now to the conference call or to the podcast, and you can hear us, but we can't hear you. So, Black CEO is all about collaboration, right? So head on over to collaborate. Go over to www.blackceotribe.com. Once you get there, one of the ways to introduce yourself, one of the ways to let folks know that you're a part of this, one of the ways to get feedback is for you to go over there and write these words. Hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. I have what it takes. Let me say it again. www.blackceotribe.com. Once you get there, follow the instructions. I'm going to hit my button here. Follow the instructions. And let me go here. And then once you do that, we're going to recognize you. Now, why do we recognize you? Because you're a Black CEO. You're here. Just the fact that you showed up says that you're a champion. Just the fact that you're here says you have what it takes and you're ready to go to another level. So Nicole Brown Houston is following. She says, hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. I have what it takes. Now, when you see those words, I have what it takes, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and say, yes, you do. You can encourage another Black CEO. This is not just a push me out type of broadcast. We're just here just to talk. No. We are a community. We all have a voice. We all contribute. So Michael Lohman, hey, Michael Lohman said, hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. I have what it takes. I believe you. B. Jacqueline Jetter, thanks for joining. Hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. She's in the house. D. Wilkins says, hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. Ready to rock the challenge. Thanks so much for joining. Thank all of you who are joining right now. All of you who are part of this very, very special challenge. Sylvia Wilson, I see you. Hashtag Black CEO Revenue Challenge. Now, here's something else I want you to know. We don't want you just to keep this to yourself, right? So some of you are seeing the video. Some of you want to share the feed out. You can take that link and you can share it out. You can share this video out with someone else. So you can pay this message forward. Why would you want to do that? Well, you believe in collaboration. Why would you want to do that? Because you want to help someone else. Why would you want to do that? Because if you were on the other side, you want that done for you. I mean, you'd want someone to share something that's going to help not only your business, not only your family, not only your community, but it's going to help us as a people, as Black CEOs. So that's one of the reasons why you share it, because you believe in the giver's economy. The giver's economy. Now, for some of you who are hearing that for the very first time, I want you to listen with new ears if you're listening, but I also want you to watch with new eyes as well. Just watch me right now and hear the giver's economy. The giver's economy says the person that outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. Doesn't that sound good? Like, you're going to outgive your competition, and as a result of you outgiving your competition, you're going to out-earn your competition. So go ahead, hit the share button, pay this message forward. Mic check, mic check. Let me go back over for those folks that are right now making those comments. We see you as you're joining on right now. Let me hit the refresh button over here.
Okay.
Give me just one
All right.
second.
So Shay, while you're doing that, all right. So all right, let's get ready to rock and roll, y'all. Let's get ready to get started. But before we get ready to rock and roll, and before we get ready to get started, there are a few things that we just need to take care of. Just a few housekeeping notes. Okay. So what is today? Today is the beginning of the Black CEO Revenue Challenge. Today is the beginning of where we're going to teach you a 9-part course. Typically, this 9-part course is been only taught to clients that have paid at the minimum level $40,000. We decided to pull back the black curtain. We decided to shut it down. We decided to throw down. And today, the next 9 days, your breakthrough is coming. Your breakthrough is coming. And so here's a few things that we want to know. We know that when we cooperate, that 1 + 1 = 2, but we know that when we collaborate, that 1 and 1 = 11, #11, #11, #11. If you don't know what that's about, right, don't worry. Today you're going to get a lesson. #11 is about how we collaborate as Black CEOs. #11 is the secret bat signal that when you see it, it's a note to every other Black CEO out there that you are collaborating. Now, we've added a little bit to that. I want y'all to write this down, that love never fails. I mean, when I say write it down, I actually mean write it down. Going over to BlackCEOtribe.com, and I mean write it down. Why? Because note takers are money makers. Why? Because basically what we know is that the mind can see without the eyes, but the eyes can't see without the mind. And so what happens is when you write and when you type, it's a way of programming your mind, is letting your mind see. So I want everybody to write, as in write. Put #11, love never fails. #11, love never fails. #11, love never fails. And since we know that love never fails, when never fails, when never. Since we know that love never fails, here's the thing that I want you to know, that wherever love shows up, success is on the way. Wherever love shows up, success is on the way. Wherever love shows up, success is on the way. We love you. We love your entrepreneurial spirit. We love your leadership ways. We love that Black brilliance. We love that Black beauty. We love your vision. We love who you are. And wherever love shows up, success is on the way. And because we showed up in love, first thing to say, I love you, because you showed up. Why? Because you love us. You love Black CEO. You love Black visionaries. And here's the thing that I can tell you. I don't care what the world said. I don't care what the news said. I don't care how they try to hold us down. Here's the thing that I can tell you is that wherever love shows up, success is on the way. Why? Because love never fails. So #11, love never fails. So what am I telling you? Here's what I'm trying to tell you. Listen. Don't collaborate in expectations. No, that's not the move. Collaborate in love. Why? Because love never fails. And when you collaborate in love, you guarantee my success and yours. When you collaborate in love, you guarantee their success and yours. Because wherever love shows up, success is on the way. Everybody, go to the group, go to BlackCEOtribe.com and put #11, love never fails. #11, love never fails. Now,
and Trevor, before we get doing that in about 30 seconds, Amber Wood says #11, love never fails. Just to let you know that. Chrissy Anderson said #11, love never fails. Mark Tyler says #11, love never fails. By the way, D. Wilkins says #11, love never fails. Loretta said #11, love never fails. We got a lot of digital folks out there that are putting their digital notes on the Black CEO digital board, and that's the place to put the notes so that someone else can benefit. See, you don't want to keep this to yourself. You want to share it with someone else. Hashtag love never fails. Head on over to BlackCEOtribe.com, BlackCEOtribe.com. Do like Meredith Brown. Just put love never fails. Pay that message forward to someone else. Back over to you, Trevor.
Hey Shay, by the way, we seem like we got a scammer. We got a scammer in the group. We got a spammer or a scammer in the group. Sometimes, they like to penetrate. The enemy is always afoot, but get them out of here. Steve LeCare, get them out of there. By the way, see, they think I won't shut them down. Wherever we see a scammer at, wherever we see a spammer at, wherever we see people trying to take down black people, we're going to call you out. We're going to shout you out. Get Steve LeClaire out of here. Get him out of here. Get him blocked. By the way, if you ever see him showing up any spaces as a black entrepreneur, trust me, go the other way. Block him now. Block him today. He's been known to scam people and spam them. Get him blocked. All right. Hey, Barrett, take care of that. Okay, let's get to the next one. By the way, if you do wrong in Black CEO, you can count me in to shout you out. Right? So if you want to get shouted out, blasted out, trust me, this is how to go down. All right, let's get back to it, Shay. You know that wherever, right? Wherever we show up at, sometimes what I realize is that I remember when I first became an entrepreneur. I remember what it was like. And before I was an entrepreneur, I was a peanut butter and jellypreneur. See, before I was an entrepreneur, I was a ramen noodles-preneur. See, before I was an entrepreneur, I was just trying to pay my bills-preneur. See, before I was an entrepreneur, I was just a make it happen-preneur. And so sometimes, right, all you are waiting for is your big moment, your big breakthrough. All you're waiting for is that one chance, that one opportunity, right? I like what Eminem said. He said you only get one shot. But here's the thing that I can tell you right now, this could potentially be your one shot, so you got to make the most of it. And so whenever we do a Black CEO broadcast, they show up to hear us, but our job is to introduce them to you. They show up to hear Shay, but our job is to introduce them to you. They show up to hear Dr. E.R. Spalding, but our job is to introduce them to you. And in this moment, if you will allow us the privilege of introducing our tribe, the people who know, like, and love us, if you will provide us with the privilege of introducing them to you, here's what I want everybody to do right now. I want everybody to go into the Facebook group, BlackCEOtribe.com. And I want you to put your first name. I want you to put where you're from. And I want you to put the name of your product, your service, your mission, your organization, or your brand, or whatever you represent. Put it in the comment section below. Because everybody on this broadcast doesn't need to hear from me. And everybody on this broadcast ain't here to hear from me. And everybody on this broadcast, we don't have the answer for, but you might. See, somebody on this broadcast right now is a credit repair specialist. Why ain't a credit repair specialist? I can't help you with your credit. But because they on this broadcast, they came to see us, but we introducing them to you. And so people right now all over the world are putting their first name, they're putting their last name. Tell us where you're from. And then tell us a little bit about that product, that service, that mission, that organization, or that brand that you represent. And if you ain't representing the brand, represent yourself. Me, is still okay with me. Me is still okay with me, right? And so go ahead and do that right now in the comment section. In ER and Shay, let's highlight some of these brothers and sisters. Because you know why, Shay? Because I remember when I was sitting in the audience and I was just praying that guy from the stage would say my name. And then one day there was a guy named Dr. George C. Frazier, and he got up on the stage and he says, one of the baddest social media brothers out there, one of the baddest marketing brothers I've met out there is a brother by the name of Trevor Otts. Broke me loose internationally. The one time he said my name, I introduced myself to him and he introduced me to the rest of the world. Right now, this is your chance to introduce yourself to us, and our job is to introduce you to the rest of the world, because part of that revenue challenge is required for us to collaborate. We got to be the change that we want to see in the world. And so as part of that collaboration, before we ask you to introduce us to the people you know, like, and love, let us introduce you to the people we know, like, and love. See, I'm sick of these broadcasts. We're like, share it out. Hey, did you share out? Did you introduce the people that's on your broadcast? Did you introduce those people to your people before you started asking them to introduce you to their people? Yeah. The funny thing about leadership is it tends to be a mirror. it tends to reflect exactly what you're doing. So that's why every broadcast, when we started out, that's why we started off with making sure that we highlight you, that we showcase you, that we tell the world about you. Then there are going to be some people that are like, Trevor, get to it. Trevor, when we going to get started? Hey, listen, the first thing I do is I always start out with showing some love to my fellow Black entrepreneurs, Black leaders, Black speakers, Black visionaries, and Black brilliant and beautiful entrepreneurs. Why? Because when we cooperate, 1 + 1 = 2, but when we collaborate, 1 and 1 = 11, hashtag 11. Why? Because love never fails. And so wherever love shows up, success is on the way. And as we get ready to transition, I want you to know one thing. I want everybody to type into the group, hashtag my success is on the way. Over to you, ER.
And let me recognize a couple of people real quick, Trevor, too, just real quick that are following directions. They can't introduce everyone, but go ahead and make sure you post over there, like a Katie McKinney, who put, I sell quality hair and skin products. She put her name. She's there. She's a business owner. She's recognizing herself. Chrissy Anderson from Illinois, Carbondale, Illinois, says she's in the house, by the way. She has a travel business. Dee Bolden, hey, Dee Bolden from Frederick, Maryland, is in the house. BC Solutions. I help companies recover old and owed money from other companies. So she's in the house. So a number of folks right now are following directions and introducing themselves. Over to you, Spalding.
We've got a couple of more. We've got Rajan Mathis out of Indiana, and she's a real estate investor. We have Stacy Moore, who is on the line, and she is the operator, the virtual resource broker. We've got Monica Butts Baker out of North Carolina. She is a wordsmith, and Mara Monique coming all the way from the Grill, Jamaica, with Rejuve Retreats. We should be coming there to have a retreat. We also have Sheila Tyson from Vallejo, California, and she provides low-cost burial insurance, not hashtag GoFundMe. So we've got a lot of individuals checking in. We've got Gigi King with Dakota's Document Preparation, where they prepare legal documents for low-income working individuals. So not only is Gigi showing up in the space, but with what she does, she serves individuals who have yet to put themselves in a position to help themselves. But that is getting ready to stop today, because this is why we're here. Is it not, Shay? Is it not, Trevor? We are here because we are getting ready to have a revolution in terms of your revenue. So if you are committed, but more importantly, if you exhibit the courage that is required, over the next 9 days, we are going to have a hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. Because if we can't help ourselves, there is no possible way that we're going to be able to go out and help those that we were called to serve. So just like they say in the airlines, put the mask over yourself first and then turn to the person next to you. And that's what we're going to be doing here today. Back over to you, Trevor.
All right, Trevor, so if you're talking, we can't hear you right now, my man, but we do have Amber Woods. I think you recognize her from DMV, with Blind Advocate with an expertise in travel and missions. She's listening there, helping disabled people get back into the community. Thanks a lot, Amber, for all that you're doing out there. Mic check, Trevor Otts.
And Shay, just want to kind of give you a heads up before we get started. We do have a white nationalist in the group that goes by the name of Steve LeClaire. We've been seeing him show up, so let's make sure to get that reported. By the way, if you're out there and you see him, hit the report button right away. Hit the report button right away. All right. So, but by the way, I told you before, wherever love shows up, success is on the way. But you can also bet that the enemy is on the way too. So let's get ready to get into it. All right. First thing I want everybody to do. Wherever you are, hit the share button. Why? Because we pay it forward in BlackCEO. Why? Because we collaborate in love, not expectation. All right. Let's go ahead and let's get to it. Okay. Now, here's the thing that I want you to know. I want everybody to write this down because we're getting ready to go ahead and get started. All right. What I want you to know is that the opposite, let me just make sure to pull my slides up here. Right. The opposite of wealth is not poor. Everybody write that down. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Everybody write that down, right? The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. And so here's the thing. Today, as we start the revenue challenge, we're going to have to get into a discussion where we are really going to have to deal with what we're really trying to do here, what we're trying to accomplish here. And for many of us, what we're really after is wealth. But I want you to know, and I want everybody to write this down, is that the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. So the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. And Shay, you can go to the next slide. And what is happening is, what we have to do is we have to commit to developing our resources. Why? Because poor is just a reflection of what we did with our resources. Wealth is just a reflection of what we did with our resources. So it's always going to come down to one thing. What did we do with our resources? It's always going to come down to one thing. What did we do with those resources? Shay, I want you to move that next slide aside so that people can follow along with the slides, because I know they want to take notes and things like that, and it'll help them take notes.
Gotcha.
Right? So poor, I'm going to go back one slide so you can get caught up, Shay. Good. So poor is just a reflection of what we did with those resources, right? And then what we know also is that wealth, and Shay, I'll just give you the finger when it's time to go. Wealth is just a reflection of what we did with those resources, okay? And Shay, whenever you see my finger, it just means go to the next slide.
I can't see your fingers. I see the slides now.
Okay, so let me just make sure if you can see me. Let's give Shay a round of applause. He's in there rocking out. The happy entrepreneur is in the house.
Yep, just give me a second to get the ones and twos going, my man. I'm following you though.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll see something on chat, but I'm following you.
Got it. And let me get that taken care of, Shay. Let's give you a couple of highlights so I can get that pulled up the right kind of way. So give me a second, okay?
Yep.
And I'll let you take over just so you can highlight the notes so we can get the slides caught up.
All right, so make sure, one, that you're following along with the notes. And also know that sometimes when you get started, you have to make adjustments. That's kind of what's going on right now. We're making adjustments. We're real time. We're live. You're watching. You're behind the scenes. And everyone right now, go over to BlackCEOtribe.com. Go over to BlackCEOtribe.com and write this note down. Just write this one note down. You don't have to get it right sometime. You just got to get going. Your heart has to be in the right place. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get going. And isn't that the case? You have to get going now with your revenue challenge. You have to get going with some new branding ideas, some new marketing ideas, some new automation ideas. And even if they're not new ideas, you've got to implement them. You've got to implement them. But I don't want you sitting back saying, well, it's got to be 100% right. It has to be absolutely perfect. If I do it, I got to make sure I just don't make a mistake. Look, I get it that you want to operate in excellence. I understand that. And I understand that you are amazing. But sometimes you just don't have to get it right. You just have to get going. And so get going. At least take action in the right direction. And then you can always change. You can always adjust as you go. Mic check, Trevor. Just want to make sure I didn't lose everybody.
Mic check.
Okay, good. I can see the slides. Okay. And so right now you're seeing the slide right now. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with our resources. Make sure you go ahead and take that one note, and go over to BlackCEOtribe.com and make a digital note. Now, why is that? Because there's some folks that just can't see the slides right now. They can't watch live. They're listening to a podcast. They're listening to a conference call. They're listening to the audio. And they're like, oh, man, what was the note? I can't write it down. I can't see it. So I know you.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Chef.
So you have an opportunity right now to not help someone else, but to bless someone else. And so while you think you're just writing notes just to write notes and no one's reading them, that is not the case. You know, oftentimes we get these notes back from folks say, hey, thanks a lot. I had a chance to go back into the group, BlackCEOtribe.com, and they come here just like you for a resource center, and they're able to go back and able to see the notes and able to get the highlights. And so while you're writing the notes, you're blessing someone else. Now, you're benefiting yourself, right? Because you hear it and then you write it. So it's a little easier and you're more likely to retain it, right? Because first you saw it, then you hear it, and then you write it. So for you, I get it. There's an extra benefit for you. But this conversation that we're having right now is not about you. It's about how can you bless another Black CEO? How can you be a lending hand to another Black CEO? And how can you make a difference for another Black CEO? And so now is that time to do that as you move forward. So right now, we're making a few adjustments as you're going on real time live. I can see you now. There we go. We're making a few adjustments. I see it.
Okay. All right, Shay. So let's get going. All right. So, Shay, if you'll just take us back to the opening slide and let's just kind of rock this thing on out. Okay. All right. So here's what we know. And I want everybody to write this down because this is going to be key. This is the fundamentals. This is the foundation. If you don't get this, you won't get it at all. Right. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources, right? The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources, okay? And what we really know is that poor is just a reflection of what we did with those resources, right? Poor is just a reflection of what we did with those resources. And wealth is just a reflection of what we did with those resources. And so what it always comes down to is it comes down to what did we do with those resources? Because wealth, everybody write this down, wealth is nothing more than the manifestations of resources developed. That's what wealth is. Wealth is nothing more than the manifestation of resources that have been developed. And so I got a resource, and you got a resource, and Robert Anthony got a resource, and Nikisha got a resource, and Trevor Otts got a resource, and everybody on this broadcast, we got a resource. And in order for our wealth to manifest itself, what we have to understand is that it's never going to manifest itself until, right, we develop our resource. So that wealth will never manifest itself until we develop our resources. So part of this 9-part series is designed to help you discover and develop your resources so that wealth is the manifestation. Now, here's what I want you to know. So we said that the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. Wealth is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. So wealth is the manifestation, or is what is produced when resources are developed. Bottom line. Now, I want you to write this down. We're going somewhere. The only path to wealth is through investment. The only path to wealth is through investment. And so that's important. Because when somebody is investing, investment just really represents, all investment is the commitment to develop resources. That's all investment is. When somebody says, I'm going to invest with you, when somebody says they have some investments, all an investment is a commitment to develop resources. All investment is a commitment to develop resources. And so there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and Shay, you can switch back and forth between me and the slides, and I know you got this covered.
Gotcha.
Right? But a lot of individuals out there in the space, we're trying to sell products and we're trying to sell services, and people walk up to us and they ask us, well, what's the cost of that? How much does that cost? Well, here's what I can tell you, and I want to give you a line. There is no cost, but there is an investment. Why? Because what you're really doing is you're not selling to them as much as you are allowing them the chance to invest in themselves through the products and services that you offer. What you're doing is you are allowing them to invest in their business through the products and services that you offer. Because what it comes down to is an investment. And so when somebody is investing with you, is so that they can develop themselves or something related to them, like their business. So in other words, there's not a cost. When somebody asks me, well, how much does it cost? The cost is zero, but there is an investment. The cost is zero, but there is an investment. Because what I do is I allow people the opportunity to invest in themselves through the products and services that I offer. What you do is you allow people to invest in themselves through the products and services that you offer. And so here's what it boils down to, is that if you know that it's matter of fact, I want everybody to write this down. The only way to develop wealth is through investment. There's only one path to wealth, and it's through investment. There is no way. You cannot give wealth away. You cannot inherit wealth. I'm about to break that down. Don't worry, that's coming, right? The only way to achieve wealth is through investment. The only path to wealth is through investment. And what happens is an investment, remember the rule, an investment is nothing more than a commitment, to develop wealth. It's nothing more than a commitment to develop resources. It's nothing more than a commitment to develop resources. So here is the age-old line. The age-old line says that a fool and his money is soon parted. The age-old line is that a fool and his money is soon parted, right? And why is that the case, right? A fool and his money is soon parted, right? Because I want you to write this down. I want to give you the modern version of this, right? I want to give you the modern version of this. Why is it that a fool and his money is soon parted, right? Here's the modern version, right? A fool and his resources are soon parted. A fool and his resources are soon parted. So, the old version is a fool and his money is soon parted. The 2019 version is a fool and his resources are soon parted. Everybody write that down. We're gonna do some teaching here. Everybody write that down. Is that a fool and his resources are soon parted. So let's talk about what a fool is. Let's just talk about what a fool is, because a lot of times we are doing some foolish things. A fool is a person who will not commit to developing his or her resources. A fool is a person who will not commit to developing his or her resources. Write that down. A fool is somebody who will not commit to developing his or her resources. So a fool is somebody who is unwilling to invest in themselves. A fool is somebody who is unwilling to invest in their resources. A fool is somebody who is unwilling to invest what has been given to them, because an investment is nothing more than a commitment to develop resources, right? But in order for you to develop that resource, you have to discover it, know what it is, and you have to value it. You have to commit to it. You have to be willing to develop that resource, because that's what an investment is. And if you don't invest, then you do not have a path to develop your resources. By the way, all investments don't require money. There's investments of time, energy, the resource. All investments, everybody write this down. All investments don't require money. All investments is not money. Matter of fact, swipe and succeed is not a business plan. You cannot swipe your credit card and be a success. Money just represents a type of investment. Hear me on this. Let's just kind of walk this thing down before we go a little bit deeper. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. So wealth in and of itself is just the manifestation or the byproduct of resources that have been developed. So all wealth is. So an investment is nothing more than a commitment to develop wealth. That's it. The reason why a fool and his money is soon parted, or a fool and his resources is soon parted, because I'm about to give you a definition of a fool. A fool is a fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person. Let me just let that sink in for a second. A fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person. I want every entrepreneur to write this down right now. I want you to write it down in the BlackCEO tribe. Shay, I want to make sure they got this written down, and then we're going to just kind of give some highlights of the people who doing the good note taking. Okay, Shay? Because a fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person. Why? Because a fool is, right? A fool is a person who consumes what they are given versus working with what they have. A fool is a person that consumes what they are given versus working with what they have. A fool is consumptive. A fool is consumptive, right? A fool is consumptive. It's a person who will not commit to developing their resources. The reason why a fool and his resources are soon parted, the reason why a fool and a fool and his money is soon parted, because a fool will always consume more than what he is given. A fool basically consumes more resources than he actually develops. A fool consumes more resources than they actually develop. And so here's the thing, and I'm about to hurt some people's feelings here, right? See, here's the thing, is that I know what they say. They say that here's what they say. They say that African Americans are the number one consumers in the world, and we've all heard that. And the reality is sometimes we beat our chest like that makes us Superman or Superwoman, and sometimes we wear it as a badge of shame. Here's the thing that you need to understand about that as we're getting into this BlackCEO revenue challenge, right? Is the thing that you need to understand and the thing that you got to know is that being the number one consumers in the world doesn't help us. And so some of us have answered that said that, by the way, here's what we need to do. That what we need to do is that we're the number one consumers in the world. Let's buy black. And if we buy black, that's going to build our empire. Should we buy black? Absolutely. But here's the problem with that way of thinking is that should you buy black? Absolutely, unequivocally. But buying black and still operating in a consumption-driven nature is a bad thing. Because as a people, when somebody say we are the number one consumers in the world, what that really says is that we are consuming more of our resources. We're consuming more resources than we develop. And so when I buy black, I am buying black because I am understanding that I'm using my resources so that they can develop their resources. And so I want you to forget buy black. I'm here to develop black. I want to help them develop their black business. I want to help them develop their black intellectual capital. I want to help them develop their black resources. I'm not saying buy black is a bad thing. It's the spirit and it's the mentality in which you do it. I develop black. Buy black was last year. Develop black is this year. Everybody put in the group, #develop black, right? #develop black. So let's just walk this thing down, because a fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person, because a fool is nothing more than a person who is not committed to developing their resources, right? And see, here's the thing that I can tell you is that a wealthy person is developmental. A wealthy person is developmental. The only path to wealth is through investment. Investment is a commitment to develop wealth. You don't have a commitment to develop wealth, poor will be your destiny. Poor will be a reflection of what you did with your resources, because the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. And here's the thing that I'm going to tell you, and somebody might not like what I'm about to say, but free people will never prosper because they live in a consumptive state versus a developmental state. Free people will never prosper because they live in a consumptive state versus a development state. They live in a consumptive state versus a developmental state. Wealth, the opposite of wealth is not underdeveloped. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what we did with those resources. I like what Cheryl Wood said. Cheryl Wood said, I'm all out of free. Count Trevor Otts as part of that list. Why? Because a free person, as a part of their nature, they prefer to consume what is given versus working with what they have. And because of that, it makes them a fool. Because a fool doesn't realize their own resources. And a fool and his resources will soon be parted. Why? Because they live in a consumptive state. I'm telling y'all now, write it down again. A fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person. Because they are a person that has no commitment to developing their resources. Thus, they will never have wealth in their life. Wealth requires that you have enough, that you value that which you have, enough so that you commit to developing it. Definition, write it down. Note takers and money makers. Wealth requires you value that which you have enough so that you would commit to developing it. Wealth requires that you value that which you have enough so that you would commit to developing it. Wealth requires you to value that which you have enough so that you would commit to developing it. All right, before we get into the next big part, here's what I want to say, right? And then ER, I'm gonna go to you for just a second. Shay, I'm gonna go to you, and then we about to walk this thing down. But I just want to hit the highlights, right? First thing we know, it's the opposite of wealth. It's not poor. It's underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. Wealth is the manifestation of resources developed. Investment is nothing more than a commitment to develop wealth. The only path to wealth comes through investment. There is no way to develop wealth without investing. And by the way, let's get clear. Money don't equal wealth. Money is just a type of wealth manifestation, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And by the way, there's this term, and I know I'm about to mess with some people. There's this term called generational wealth. You've heard that term, ER? You've heard that term?
I have. I've heard
Absolutely.
it.
And in and of itself, it's based upon the concept of developing enough, in most cases, money, so you can pass it on to your children and your children's children. You can pass on money, but you can't pass on wealth. If I give my kid $50 million, the money that I gave him is a resource. I didn't give him wealth, I gave him money. Until he develops the resource that I gave him, he will not be wealthy. If he never develops that $50 million, then the only thing he can do is consume it. And he may not consume it in his lifetime, but what he will do is cause that family to eventually run out of money. Why? Because he consumed it, he's going to teach his children to consume it, and he's operating in a consumptive state. The only way to develop wealth, or the only way to create wealth, is to develop resources. And so if I give you $50 million today, and 10 years later, you still not done anything with it, you are just as poor 10 years from now as you were when the day I gave it to you. Because when I gave it to you, it was a resource. And then what came with that resource was a responsibility to develop it. Wealth represents your responsibility to develop the resources. Oh, by the way, for those people who like to go to church, it says be fruitful and multiply. It's trying to tell you to replenish and replace that which you take out of the earth. Now, if you consume more than you put back, you are consumptive. You are a fool. A fool is a person who consumes that which is wants to consume that which has been given to him or her more than they want to develop that which has been given to him or her. A fool is a person who wants to consume more than what has been given to him or her, more than they want to develop what they have. That's a fool. And a fool and a person who wants something for free is the same thing. I told you I love what Sherwood said. I'm all out of free. So are you, and so am I. You want to know why? Because giving people something, giving people a resource, which is you, which is your brain power, which is your skill, which is your product, without a commitment from them to develop that resource, is the setup. Hashtag the setup. All right, Shay, ER, I'm going to go to you for a second before we get into the next part of this training.
Well, I don't know. I think we need to check in with everybody because you are dropping some knowledge here today. I don't know. I feel like the wool has been lifted off of my eyes. You know, when we sit there, I think about one of the things that you said, be fruitful and multiply. But there was something else that he said. He said, get knowledge, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get an understanding. And I feel this is what we are doing this morning, getting an understanding around who we have been being inside of not only the marketplace, but inside of our lives. Because when we have this conversation that I am building generational wealth, we really have had no concept of what we've been talking about. What we really have been saying is that we have been attempting to have generational riches, right? The money that we have the ability to pass down to other individuals, but the wealth in knowing that there are different manifestations of wealth, that is something completely and totally mind-blowing right now. So we woke up this morning coming here because we are challenging. We came here to disrupt a couple of things. Disrupt what you normally think. Disrupt what you normally say and disrupt what we normally do, because that is the only way that we're going to get to the other side of manifesting the wealth and no longer playing the fool. So I'm here and I'm rocking with you, Trevor. How about you, Shay?
You know, as I'm listening in right now, this is one of the reasons why you show up at the BlackCEO Tribe. It's one of the reasons why you're members, that we're always growing, we're always learning. When the question is asked, when do you stop learning? The obvious answer is you never stop learning, right? You never stop learning. There was one nugget. There was so many that was shared, but there's one that I want you to put over at BlackCEOTribe.com. Like, I want you to open up your browser if you haven't done it. Even if you've already made some digital notes, if you've never made a note before, I want to make sure you make this note right now. But head on over to www.blackceotribe.com and write this one nugget down. There were so many, but how many ideas do you need to change your life? Really, if you think about it, how many ideas? Really, like one, right? One good idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. So write this idea, write this nugget down, and here it is. I'm going to say it a little slow so you can get it written up and open up the discussion part. Type it in right now. Here it is. The only path to wealth is through investment. Let me say that again. The only path to wealth is through investment. Investing in yourself, investing in your business, investing in your life, investing in others. So I'm going to make sure that you have this down. I want you to use the hashtag BlackCEO Tribe, hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions, hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go over to BlackCEOTribe.com right now. You're going to write this down. You wrote down a lot of nuggets, but you're going to put it on a digital board. I love digital boards. Digital boards are the best because you're leaving a footprint for someone else. Here it is. The only path to wealth is through investment. Hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions. Hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions. I'll put that up for a second so you can write that down. There it is right there. You see it. Now, don't hold it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. Pay that message for it. There's so many more. Others of you, you're hitting the share button. Like you're over there, maybe on Trevor Otts' page right now, maybe on Shay's page, maybe on E.R. Spalding's page. And you can hit the share button, see, or you can click the video, grab the link up top in the URL. And what I want you to do, because Trevor's about to go into something that's very, very important, and I don't want you to miss this. And I want the community to hear it as well. So there's a couple ways that you can participate, and we love when you participate, is you can either hit the share button if you're watching. You hit the share button. You can take the link. Some of you have taken the link and shared it forward, and others have taken a message. If you were fortunate to get the VIP message, if you weren't, don't worry about it. But if you were, pay that forward. The only path to wealth is through investment. With that being said, Trevor, I'm going to turn it back over to you. All right. So you're on mute right now, Trevor, if you're speaking.
Got it. Mic check. All right.
All
So let's
right,
get back to it, Chef.
clear.
All right. So let's get back to the slides. All right. So here's what I want everybody to know. I want you to write this down because we're going to just kind of walk this thing down. By the way, remember that teaching is repeating until learning takes place, and learning is hearing and doing until understanding takes place. And the reason why we get understanding is because you might forget what you learn, but you'll never forget what you understand. So here's what I want you to know. The first manifestation of wealth is never money. The first manifestation of wealth is never money. The first manifestation of wealth is never money. Okay? The first manifestation of wealth is never money. So let's look at it, for example. Okay? LeBron James, he is physically gifted. He works on his gifting. He works on developing his gift, his resource, right? He's physically gifted. Because he works and he practices, his first manifestation of wealth is skill. Skill is a type of wealth manifestation. It's the first manifestation for him because the first manifestation of wealth is never money. Money is just a type of wealth manifestation, but the first manifestation of wealth is never money. So he develops his skill. And after developing his skill, right, all of a sudden he goes on and he starts winning throughout high school, and he starts to develop the respect of his peers. Respect is a type of wealth manifestation. Remember, I told you all wealth is not money, right? And so you got to understand that wealth can manifest itself in many ways. The first manifestation of wealth is never money, right? And so then the third thing is now he has the respect of his peers. Eventually, he goes on and he gets drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And in that moment, he had been financially not in a great state. But in that moment, when he got drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, he officially became rich, meaning wealth didn't manifest itself in its primary manifestation. It didn't manifest itself in its secondary manifestation, it didn't manifest itself until its tertiary manifestation. It became the third it was in his third iteration of wealth manifestation that his money showed up. And so for many of us, we've been counting ourselves as failure. See, I know what it's about. I've been there. I know exactly what it's like. And I'm going to tell you how it goes down, right? How it goes down is like this, is that all of a sudden you go to the conference because they told you got to learn how to be a 6-figure success. You got to learn how to be a 7-figure champion. I get all that. I get it. I understand it. It is what it is. But all of a sudden, you get there, you sitting in the room, you went there because you wanted to learn how to be a success. But all of a sudden, what do? You see the people getting on the stage, showing you their cars, showing you their houses, right? And all of a sudden, the place that you went to learn how to be a success, now you feel more of a failure than you do a success. Because what you are starting to learn is that I am only successful, right, if I have made a certain amount of money. And what you're starting to do is discount the other manifestations of your wealth. And now you start to undervalue it. And now because you undervalue it, you put yourself in position to be parted from your resources for less than what it's worth. Thus, a fool and his resources is soon parted. And so what happens is that's how you get overworked. That's why you feel overworked and underpaid, because you undervalued your resources. And so here's the thing that you got to realize is that wealth takes on many different manifestations, but the first manifestation of wealth is never money. The first manifestation of wealth is never, ever, ever money. And anybody that tries to tell you that, they are lying. And anybody that tries to show you that, they are lying. And so here's the thing. When you start looking at for some of you, your wealth manifestation may show up in your third iteration. For some of you, it may not show up until your fourth or your fifth iteration. I'll give you a perfect example. The way that I think, right? The way in which my mind works is my resource. When I study, meaning the development of that mind, what it produces is a type of wisdom or intelligence or brilliance that is my first iteration of wealth. Now, what starts to happen is I start speaking about what I've been studying, meaning I've been developing my original resource, the mind. And now that wisdom, which became, by the way, I want you to write this down. Here we go. By the way, every manifestation of wealth requires a new responsibility to develop that manifestation. So when you develop a resource, it's whatever it produces is a manifestation of wealth. That which it produces now creates a new responsibility to develop what is now manifested itself as a new resource. So once, right, the wisdom and the brilliance and the thinking, once all that stuff got developed, right, and it manifested itself in wisdom and brilliance and intelligence, now I had a responsibility to develop that. And I started developing that by speaking. And what that produced was a new manifestation of wealth, which was basically the respect of my peers. Okay? So the second manifestation of wealth for me was respect. After that, I started to work in that space, started to help my peers. And then the next manifestation for me was influence. I gained marketplace influence. I gained industry influence. And because of that influence became the third manifestation, right? And then I worked and I developed that thing. And then my fourth iteration of wealth really became, now I produce products and services that I sold. So money didn't show up until my fourth iteration. Then in the fifth iteration was then people showed up and people bought the products and people bought the services, and all of a sudden they started getting results. And the results that they got, results is another wealth manifestation. Those results that they got That became another manifestation of wealth, results. Then, after that, those results caused the value of the original service to go up. And so now I got what is referred to commonly as value expansion. That's why the price of my products went up. It went because they started demanding a premium price because of the results that people were getting. So for some of you, you want to go right to charging $5,000, $25,000, $30,000. You seen it. You ain't got it like that. You jump right to the front of the line without developing your wealth in such a way that your value grew. An iPhone 10, 15 years ago was $300. 10 years later, an iPhone is $1,300 because what you're starting to see is the different iterations, right? So at the end of the day, the first manifestation of wealth is never money. All right, let's take it to the next slide. Now, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we become frustrated, and your frustration is nothing more than it's a manifestation. Frustration is nothing more than a manifestation of the fact that you've been fooled out of your wealth. When you get fooled out of your wealth, what manifests itself is frustration. So a lot of y'all watching today, you're frustrated. You want to know why? Because you've been fooled out of your resources. Because you've basically been tricked to believe that some of y'all, you've been tricked to believe that your intellectual capital is not worth much. But I came to tell you that there's more money in what you know than what you do. By the way, the first manifestation of wealth is never money. The richest man that ever lived, depending on your religious belief, the Bible says King Solomon. But what was he also known for? He was also known as the wisest man in the world. Powerful people ask powerful questions. What came first? The riches or the wisdom? What came first? The riches or the wisdom? The wisdom came first. That's why I told you that there's more money in what you know than what you do. That's why I told you that the first manifestation of wealth is never money. The first manifestation of wealth is never money. And so what we have to do in taking this revenue challenge, we're going to have to rewire ourselves and recommit ourselves to a new ideology. There is nothing that we have to give you for free. To give you something for free, is to make a fool out of you. The investment required to be on this training it requires an investment of your time. It requires you to take notes. It requires you to show up on time. It requires you to post what you're writing, your notes in the group so that we can make sure that you're getting it right by checking your work. But from the beginning of this 9-part series all the way to the end, if you show up late, we're just putting you out. You don't take notes, we're just putting you out. To give you something for free is to make a fool out of you, because it means that basically we are helping you commit to not developing your resources, right? And so here's what I want to say to everybody here. I want you to write this down. Never give away a resource without requiring an investment from the person that you gave it to, lest you make them a fool. Never, 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 ever give away a resource without requiring an investment. If you give away an investment, if you give away a resource without requiring an investment, if you give away a resource without requiring a commitment for that person to develop that which you gave them, then what you've done is you have committed to making that person a fool. Because what you're doing is you're developing somebody that is going to consume more than they develop. I want you to write this down. Where there is no investment, there is no appreciation. Where there is no investment, there is no appreciation. Where there is no investment, there is no appreciation. Where there is no commitment to develop resources, there is no appreciation. Where there is no commitment, time, energy, resources, investment. Where there is no investment, there is no appreciation. And where there is no appreciation, there is no stewardship. You don't take care. They don't take care of what you gave them because they had no investment. Poor stewardship equals poor, period. Poor stewardship equals poor, period. Why? See, where there's no investment, there's no appreciation. Where there's no appreciation, there's no stewardship. And where there's no stewardship, there's no access to more. Meaning you ain't getting any more. You ain't getting any more than what you already been given because you didn't do anything with what you already had. You're not getting any more than what you already You're not getting any more than what you already have because you haven't done anything with what you've already been given. You're not getting any more than what you already have because you haven't done anything with what you've already been given. Hashtag resource accountability. See, here's the thing. I can tell you why your kid, some of y'all got kids that's still on your couch. You want to give them a college education. I got that. You should. But if they didn't invest in it, they probably ain't got the money to invest in it. So they got to invest their effort, their study, their time, their labor. But they didn't do it. So you bought them into college anyway. They had no investment. So when they got to college, they didn't see it as this magnanimous opportunity. They didn't see it as something like, I'm going to make the most of myself. They had no appreciation for it. So they didn't take care of the college education you bought for them. And because of that, what happened is they had no appreciation. And because of that, they didn't take care of it. And that's how they ended up back on your couch. Never give away a resource without a requirement of an investment. So here's what I want everybody to do. I want you to write this down. Write this down. Affirmation of the day. Affirmation of the day. I'm giving y'all some affirmations that this is going to be our affirmation of the day. We're going to say it 3 times today throughout the day. First affirmation, I will develop my resource. First affirmation, I will develop my resources. Everybody put in the comment section, I will develop my resources. I will develop my resources. Everybody put that in the comment section. I will develop my resources. Second, okay? Second affirmation. Second affirmation. I will value my resources. I will value my resources. I will value my resources. Third affirmation. Developing my resources is my path to wealth. Write this down. Developing my resources is my path to wealth. So that brings us to what this Black CEO Revenue Challenge is all about. I ain't trying to get you rich. I'm trying to help you become wealthy. We ain't trying to get you rich. We're trying to help you become wealthy. And doing this 9-day challenge, we're going to help you discover your resources and develop your resources. Everybody put hashtag discover and develop. Everybody put hashtag discover and develop. Everybody put hashtag discover and develop. Why? Because the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. Because wealth is the manifestation of resources developed. And an investment is a commitment to develop your resources. And what we know is that a fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person. Why? Because a fool only has a commitment to consume versus a commitment to develop. I challenge every Black CEO on this chat, every Black leader on this video, every Black visionary, every Black author. The gauntlet has been thrown down. I challenge you to develop your resources. I challenge you to value your resources. I challenge you to do more with your resources. I used to say that you got to learn how to do a lot with a little. But the resources that you have, that ain't a little thing. The way your mind works, the way your gifts show up, the way that skill that you have, that thing that you love to do, that passion inside of you, that ain't no small thing. You got to do a lot with the lot that you've been given. You got to do a lot with the lot that you have been given. And so that brings us to the beginning, the official beginning of the Revenue Champions course that will be taught by yours truly, Trevor Otts, that will be taught by Dr. E.R. Spalding, that will be taught by the sales cardiologist. And here is my promise to you, is that we're going to help you develop your resources in such a way that not only do you experience a wealth manifestation, but you experience it in such a way that it is merely the byproduct of the resources that you've been developing. I want you to remember that the first manifestation of wealth is never money. So for some of you, you've been waiting for your money. But the reality is you ain't done much with the resources yet. And that's why the money ain't showing up. Your bank account, if it doesn't reflect how good you are, it's because you haven't been doing a lot with what you've been given. There needs to be some resource development. Everybody has to commit to developing their resources. Don't just buy black, develop black. Don't just buy black, develop black. Don't be consumptive. Be developmental. So that being said, it is now time to pass it over to my host, who will take it from here. And then we'll be closing out in about another 20 or so minutes. About 22 minutes or so. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Dr. E.R. Spalding. And Dr. E.R., all you got to do is give Shay the hand. You do it like this. Let me show you how to do it, E.R. You do it like this. You got to do it like this, and Shay moves the slide. But if you don't, you do it like this, you got to do the move there.
Here and to develop this platform out. We had to develop our minds out. We had to develop this conversation. Fall victim.
Hold up. They can't hear you, so hold for 1 second. Hold for 1 second.
All right.
I think let me just fix something on Shay's thingamajigger. Let me fix his sound real quick. So give me just a second. Let me just fix it for him.
All right.
1 second. Because I know, and Shay, if you'll take over while I'm fixing our audio real quick.
All right, mic check. As we're fixing the audio on the other side, everyone write this down right below. You see it there, but write it right below. The opposite of wealth. They just changed my slide there. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, so a couple things. One, look right below the video. And just put there, the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is not poor. Just write this down. This is something I want you to tell yourself 7 times a day for the next 7 days. 7 times a day for the next 7 days. That's the importance of 7 times a day for the next 7 days. I want you to tell yourself the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. I want you to tell yourself like 7 times a day for the next 7 days. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Underdeveloped resources. The opposite of wealth is not poor. Say that with me right now. Like do me a favor. Look right below the video. Right now and just write these words. I want you to write these words and share this forward. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. So we've got to develop our resources. Now early on, we talked about the affirmation, I will develop my resources. But first, I want you to understand the principle. I want you to understand the principle that's underlining that affirmation. There's a principle first, and the principle is the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. So if I was to see you at a future virtual event like we're doing right now, right? Or maybe I'll see you live. Maybe I'll see you at the BlackCEO event, BlackCEO conference. And you and I were to talk. And I come up to you and say, what's one of the principles that you have for your business? What's one of the core values, one of the ethos that drive why you do what you do? I want you to say, Shay, I learned just one idea, that the opposite of wealth is not poor. I used to think I had a shortage of money. I used to think there wasn't enough cash in the bank. I used to think that I need to extend my credit. But I learned this. I learned this on the hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions, that the opposite of wealth is not poor. And what I learned, Shay, is the opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. And I made a decision, one, because I said it 7 times a day for the next 7 days. You're going to say this 7 times a day for the next 7 days. I made a decision. I didn't get excited. I made a decision. I didn't get up and start shouting. I made a decision. I didn't just write a note. And the decision I made was I will develop my resources. That's why I show up. And so as a result of you doing that now, now you've done that. Now, if you make this commitment, if you want to make a promise to yourself, just look right below the video, and just put, I promise. Don't say I will. I will is good, by the way. I will is good. It's a strong affirmation like I am, but I'm going to take it up one level. Why? Because you're a Black CEO. I'm going to take it up a whole nother level. Why? Because you've been behind the curtain and you've got some of the best training. I believe it was Maya Angelou said that when you know better, you're going to do better. So now I'm going to help you know better, and you're going to make a promise to yourself. Because when you make a promise to yourself, it just means you're more likely to do it. And here's the promise, Trevor, as I come to you. Here's the promise. I promise to develop my resources. I promise. I want you to make a promise right now. Look right below the video. Look right below the video and write these words. I promise to develop my resources. I promise to develop my resources. It's personal. It ain't about me. It's not about Trevor. It's not about ER Spall. It's not about the BlackCEO tribe. It's personal. So I promise to develop my resources. Hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions. Now, when you write that down, we're going to go back. We're going to follow the hashtag. Now, I'm not going to say what's going to happen. I'm not going to promise you any chocolate or any videos, but we're going to do something for you. So you look right below the video and put, I promise to develop my resources. Hashtag. Here's the hashtag so I can follow it, right? I got to be able to follow it. Hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Champions. You make that promise. And here's our promise. You hang in there. You just show up. You keep taking notes. You keep sharing it. You keep listening. You keep staying in this conversation. And my promise to you, we're going to develop those resources. My promise to you is that you will no longer have undeveloped resources. I'm going to go back over and do a mic check to see if we can hear none other than Dr. E.R. Spalding.
Can you hear me now? Mic check.
We hear it loud and clear.
All right. And Shay, just following up on what you said, in terms of individuals making a promise, making a promise to develop our resources is the first step, right? Because Trevor laid out, and he was talking about LeBron James. You see, we all come to this world, and we have this great thing called talent.
I'm hearing a recording in the background. Trevor, do you hear it?
Can you hear me? Mic check.
I can hear. I hear loud and clear, Shay.
Okay, I hear her, but I hear something playing in the background. Do you hear it?
Mic check. Mic check.
It's like the audio is playing in the background of the call. Do you hear it?
I don't hear it.
Okay, that's really weird. It's like I hear it coming on my side. Hold on. I just want to make sure it's not on the recording, but it's like the recording is playing back now. Do you hear it?
Let me just double check. I don't hear it. I hear it on your side, but I don't hear it on my side.
Okay. I'm going to go and turn my volume down because I can hear it. It might be coming in here. You see right here? It might be playing itself back. But go ahead.
Yep, I only see your microphone.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, ER.
All right. So we were talking
You'll get us over to the revenue champion slide.
Okay.
We're just here. You don't have to get it right. You just got to get it going.
Hold on.
We're here and talking about making a promise to develop our resources. But in addition to making that promise, we also have to take some action steps, right? We have to take some action steps towards developing our resources, because that is going to be the only way to wealth, which is why we're doing things a little bit differently today, which is why we took the time to really develop this resource in terms of our time and our intellect to walk you down this narrative so that we could truly understand where we all are going. Because we've all been at that place when we've been asking ourselves, why not me? We turn around and we get into this comparison because we show up at the conferences, we show up with our trainers, and we show up with other individuals, and we're constantly looking at what they have. Individuals walking on the stage, getting their six-figure earner ring, and you're asking that critical question, why not me? Why not me? What is it that I am doing that does not allow me to propel forward and to stand up there and get my ring? Not understanding that it really is a driver because we have not been developing the resources that we've been given. We stand and we're constantly asking ourselves, our bank account doesn't reflect really just how good I am. I went to school. I did everything that they told me to do. I got the master's degree. I got the doctorate degree. I went out there and I had these life lessons, but my bank account really does not reflect how good I am. So we're standing here and we've been thinking to ourselves, I'm overqualified. And overworked. And this is why a fool and his resources are soon departed, because we are looking at ourselves and not valuing who we are. And so we give away our time. We give away our energy. We stay on that job when we're working 60, 70, 80 hours because we don't understand that if we developed ourselves in a different way, the resources would show up, and we would also have a responsibility to do more in order to manifest that which we have been given. And so we're here today because it's time out. This is the hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Challenge, because we can't be Black and broke CEOs. See, we've been given a lot of information, but we have coupled that and added an implementation deficit. You know, Shay says all the time that it only really takes one good idea, but we have to take that good idea and we have to implement that idea over and over and over again. And what is that called? That's called training. Go ahead and write this down. This is a principle. Until you train with what you know, the full manifestation of what that knowledge is supposed to be and or do in your life will never show up. Having an idea is just not good enough. Having the information puts you into information overload, because until you train with what you know, the full manifestation of what that knowledge is supposed to be and or do for you in your life will never show up. Until LeBron James trained with the talent that he had been given, the full manifestation of who he is will never have shown up in his life. If Trevor had never trained his mind in the way that he has been training and developing, he would never be able to come and recognize the full manifestation of that. If Shay did not have a vision and become the sales visionary and trained with that over and over and over again, picking up the phone call, understanding that yes is where we're going, but no is how we get there, he would never be the sales cardiologist that he is today. So information overload plus implementation deficit equals a broke CEO. See, we're not here to give you this 7-figure fairy dust. This is not Disneyland. Love Walt Disney, but this is not the Disney experience. We are not going to be here sprinkling any dust over you and pulling the wool over your eyes, because this is not it. Guess what? Your 7-figure success will never show up if you don't develop the resources that you have and manifest them over time. See, we've been living in this world where we have been going to all of these different coaches. And we know here in BlackCEO Nation that get yourself a coach and get your business a board. But we've been sitting with these coaches and we've actually been staring Pinocchio in the face, right? Individuals show up and they're like, hey, you're getting ready to have your 6-figure breakthrough in 60 days. And what I call on that is bull flanking, because every time someone said that to me, 60 days would come and go, and I would be worse off than I was when I met them, because not only would I not have the 6 figures that was promised, I was out of the resources called my money that I had given them. You know, they always tell you, come on, Pinocchio is available for your next speaking engagement, your Facebook Live. And we have all these individuals that are beginning to show up and pop up in this space and telling you that they are the gurus that are here to change your life. But if they are not giving you the principles, the absolute truisms, the why behind the actions that they are telling you to take, then what we'll find is that we're always going to be stuck in the same place. And you're stuck in that same place and you're asking yourself, is it me or is it them? Right? Somebody's nose is growing at this particular point in time. Is it me or is it them? Because I smell a rat. I don't get after doing everything that they told me to do, why the money is not showing up. So yes, I did what you asked me to do. I made that course and I went out and I stood on my soapbox and I said, for $5,000, come in and I am going to change your life. And you're trying to figure out why nobody showed up. More importantly, why no one swiped their credit card. And you're asking the question, is it me or is it them? And I'm here to tell you that it's both, because your frustration is simply a manifestation that you've been fooled out of your resources. When we don't take the responsibility to invest in the resources that we have, a fool and his money is soon departed. See, that frustration that we've been feeling, asking ourselves this question, is it me or is it them, is just a reflection that the manifestation that you created is because you have been fooled out of your resources. Because someone just told you what to do. They didn't explain why to do it. And then you didn't turn around and fact check it and utilize the brilliance that you have to truly uncover if this is going to be your pathway through the development of your resources. So we're here because this is a be true Hollywood story. We are going to be building a 7-figure business, but before we can get to the business building, we've got to get to the development of resources, which is why we're here on this hashtag BlackCEO Revenue Challenge. Yeah, if you don't want to challenge the way that you've been thinking, if you don't want to challenge what it is that you've been doing, if you don't want to challenge what other people have been saying to you, then this is not the place for you. Because this conversation is a little disruptive. See, we've been, walking around in fairy tale land, having this dust sprinkled over us, and we've been falling asleep at the wheel. But we're here today in this 9-part series that will be over the course of the next 2 weeks to disrupt some things about what we have been doing. Because I remember there was a time when I had more bills than revenue. There was a time when I had to tell individuals the check was in the mail. Yeah, you remember those phone calls before the cell phones were really popular and people still called and it really wasn't a caller ID and you had to pick up the phone and you actually had the bill collector that you were talking to and you're like, oh man, I can't believe I picked up that call. And then you had to sit there and figure out how to tell them that the check was in the mail. I remember that. I remember when I had more hope than business sense. See, because when I was in a career, somebody else was telling me what to do. And then I went out and became this entrepreneur, and I had all of this hope of who I was going to be and become, and everything that I was going to have as it related to riches. And the riches didn't show up in the way that I expected them to show up. And as a result, I thought about going back to that 9 to 5. And if you are truly an entrepreneur, you know how humbling of a place that feels. Because the entrepreneur in you is not one that is going to lightly sit by and go back to being under the foothold of someone else. But I thought about it. Because it was hard. But the resources that I have, I was departed from them very quickly, very easily. So the 401k was drained. The savings account was drained. My car note was behind. Because I was a fool, because I did not develop the resources that I had available to me, because I didn't recognize what those resources were. And it was easy to think about going back to that 9 to 5, because when you have a job, they are responsible for you. When you start a business, you're responsible for them. See, I had to be responsible for that virtual assistant that I hired. I had to be responsible for the design team. I had to be responsible for the marketing team. So it was easy to think about going back to that 9 to 5 job because I wasn't ready. You see, I was educated, So I thought I knew something, and I was family focused. So I had something that I loved, and I was highly ambitious. And I'm no different than you. I'm no different than Shay. I'm no different than Trevor. We all have those things that we love. We all have those things that we want. And we all have the things that we know, but if we are not collectively putting them together and developing them in a way and recognizing the manifestations of wealth as they show up and being responsible then for those resources, then what is it that we're doing? Because we know that it's not just about the money. Because all success in life doesn't have a dollar sign associated with it. I'm going to say that again, and you've heard it, so go ahead and write that down. All success in life doesn't have a dollar sign associated with it. Principle, the first manifestation of wealth is never money. The first manifestation of wealth is never money. I know you've written it down before, but go ahead and write it again, because people are popping into this feed at different times, and we want to make sure as much as we can, we are getting them caught up to speed. All success in life doesn't have a dollar sign associated with it, and you want to know why. The principle that governs that statement is that the first manifestation of wealth is never money. But we can be honest with one another. Money ain't everything, but everybody wants to find out for themselves, right? Like, we get that a fool and his money are not soon departed, but I would still like to hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at Les Brown and I'm saying that, yes, I'd love to hit the lottery, but this is not where you come to hit the lottery. This is where you come to develop resources. This is not the place where you come to buy Black. This is where you come to develop Black. And development is a responsibility, because rarely will you see a successful person in life who's broke. Translation: a person who is wealthy is a person who has invested in their resources. They have developed their resources. Because all success in life doesn't have a dollar sign associated with it. It's just like peanut butter and jelly. Ashford and Simpson, we know them, we used to rock out to them, right? Some things just go better together. Success and money, yes, they go well together, but they also go with the other manifestations of wealth. And as my good friend Shay Brown says, that the success that shows up in your life is just as important as the success that shows up in your bank account. So why are we here? And what will we be doing? Because someone told us that there was a secret, right? Someone said that there was a secret to success, money, and business. And we are here to dispel that belief, because we know, we understand, we recognize that there's no secret. It's just a formula. I'm going to say that again. There's no secret to success, money, and business. There is just a formula. There is no secret. It's just a formula. What's the secret to liquid hydration? What's the secret? If I were to hold up a water bottle, what's the secret to liquid hydration? The saturation for your soul. There is no secret. Everybody, do me a favor, write the comment feed. If you know the formula for water, go ahead and put that in the feed. If you know the formula to water, go ahead and put that in the feed. I'm going to see if we got anybody out there that knows the formula for water. And I'm going to wait a minute. So I'm going to tell you all, both of my parents, all of my family are educators. So I have an overabundance of patience when we're in an educational environment. So I'm checking, what is the formula for water?
Yeah, we're checking the feed down, so they're responding to you right now, and I even see some notes that people have sent directly to you. So and I'm going to recap what she said while everybody is just kind of posted in the comment section below. All success is formulated, and during this Black CEO Revenue Challenge for 9 days, we're going to be teaching the formulas for having success, marketing success, branding success, revenue success, business success. And those are the things that we're going to be covering. This is ER is going to be giving us a wrap, and then we're going to be talking about what's going to be happening on day 2. And then number 2 is I'm going to be giving you guys some very special information. By the way, everybody who manages to complete the 9-day challenge will be receiving something special. Everybody who completes the 9-day challenge will be receiving something special. But before we do that, I'm going to, people have now started to respond that the formula to water is now H2O. So I will pass it back over to you, and then you'll go ahead and get us wrapped up, and then we'll pass it to Shay.
All right, absolutely. So we know that the formula for water is H2O. So there is no secret. Nobody can come up to you. Nobody can fool you into thinking that there is going to be something else that is going to show up or manifest itself when you put H, 2 parts hydrogen, and 1 part oxygen together. So there is no secret. All success in life, with money, and with business is formulaic. So when we think about that, all success comes down to our principles and formulas. Principles and formulas, write that down. All success in life comes down to principles and formulas. And when we come back tomorrow, we're going to pick up on that, because all success in life comes down to principles and formulas. See, we have been here and laying the groundwork and understanding that the first manifestation of wealth is never money. And to invest in oneself is to be committed to developing the resources that you have. When you recognize that wealth, that money is never the first manifestation of wealth, and you also understand that your resources are what needs to be developed in order to manifest that wealth, you will never be in a position where someone can call you foolish, because you will never depart from the resources that you have. And how we go about developing those resources are understanding the principles which govern them and the formulas which are going to be required in order to make them manifest. There was no secret to LeBron James. It really came down to the formula. What was the formula? Get up out the bed, get to the gym, put the ball in your hand, and dribble. Now, yes, was there some talent that was put in there? Absolutely. But if we all at some point dedicated the time and the commitment into anything that we do and developing the resources, the talents that we have, we all are skillful inside of that. So we have been here and we've said a mouthful, and I encourage everyone to go back and actually listen, view this recording again. Because we're going to be going fast and furious, and we're breaking this down over 9 days. And as Trevor said, there's going to be something very special for the individuals who stay and show up for every 9 days. Why? Because time is a resource. Energy is a resource. Commitment is a resource. And the question that you have to ask yourself, am I committed to developing the resources that I have at my disposal in order to unlock and manifest the wealth that I seek in my life? So with that, I'm going to go over to you, Shay.
Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me loud and clear?
We can hear you loud and clear.
We hear you loud and clear.
I know some of you are listening right now and you're thinking to yourself, you know, this is the right type of conversation. This is where I show up to really develop my resources. This is where I come to stay in the conversation. And one of the number one distinctions or principles we teach is you stay in the conversation. And when you're in the conversation around wealth, around business, then these ideas are top of mind to you. And when they're top of mind to you, you're just more likely to execute. That's flat out. You're just more likely to execute. And so let me go ahead and give you just one action for you to take. This is for you to develop your resources so you can get what you need to execute for the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. You've got to develop your own resources. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to suggest that you do one thing, that you take out your mobile device now, and I'm going to give you a number to text. I'm going to give you a number to text, and I'm going to give you all of the details regarding the BlackCEO Business School. Now, this is just a conversation right now. This is just a start, right? But you want to be not only learn the lessons, you want to apply the lessons, but not only apply the lessons, but also get the resources that you need so you can develop those resources and execute on the vision that was given to you. So let's talk about how to do that. Because if you were like, well, Shay, how can I do all that? Like, where can I go to really develop my resources? Like, what's set aside directly for me? I don't want to say what FUBU says, but I love it. For us, by us, right? Now, Dave and John, if you listen, just know it's just an idea. I'm just sharing what you said. And so now it's been created. There's the BlackCEO Business School. Now, that says enough by itself, right? BlackCEO Business School. Shay, I get it. I need all the details. Yes, Shay, I need to be in this type of conversation. Yes, Shay, I need to be attending some things live and be there so I can be face-to-face with you. Yes, Shay, I need to come to the one resource center where the founder of BlackCEO actually is teaching. And he's teaching in a way that you can learn something and then you can go do it. Everyone write down, learn something and then go do it. Everyone write this down, learn something and then go do it. But Shay, I'm busy. Okay, your assistant can learn something and then go do it. But Shay, I'm busy. I've got to develop my resources. You're going to come learn something and then you're going to go do it. So let me give you the number to text, because the number you're going to text, and go ahead and get your cell phone number out right now. Let's just get your mobile number out. Like I have mine out right now, so you would get it out, and then you would just go to your messages. This is not new for some of you. Some of you have done this before, but you've never done it, so you can develop your resources. And then once you do that, I want you to go and I want you to text this number. So go ahead and punch this number in right now, 240, and you can look right below the video, some of you, 240-428-6333. For all the folks that are listening online, for those folks that are watching live, look right below the video, and you're going to text the word school, SCHOOL, to this number so you can get all the details. Text it to 240-428-6333. Now, the number one reason you're going to text that is that you have an affirmation you're saying 7 times a day for the next 7 days. And that affirmation is the opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. And you made a promise to yourself that I promise to develop my resources. So once you made a promise to yourself to develop your resources, the question is, where can I go to develop my resources, right? Like where can I go? Well, the place to be, the only place to be, is BlackCEO Business School, that was created, that is developed, that has its own mission and its own core values are tied directly to making sure that you have the resources so you do no longer have undeveloped resources. You have the resources you need to execute the vision you have for yourself, because you got a vision that you see for yourself right now. The vision for your loved ones, those are the ones you care the most about. Some of you want to send your kids to a school of their choice. Some of you want to write a check for your parents and make sure they're taken care of. It's very, very personal to me. Some of you right now just want to make sure you take care of the community. And since BlackCEO was created for one reason and one reason only, that's to help you create business-based wealth so we can fund those causes we believe in, and at the exact same time collaborate. Then you got to write a check. So you got some loved ones. And then others, you just need the resources for the people you were called to serve. You were given a vision by God, that's who we believe in, to go out there and execute the vision. And you can't execute that vision without the resource. So what you want to do is you want to text at least the word school. Now, look, when you text the word school, follow the instructions, all right? So open up your browser, right? Open up your Messenger right now, type in 240. And someone do me a favor, because some folks are listening, but they can't see, and some people can see, but they can't listen. If you're in a position to help someone else, make a digital note right now. So go look right below the video, and write these words: text school, SCHOOL, to 240-428-6333 to get the details for BlackCEO Business School, Do that now. Like, don't delay, don't wait, don't write it down. That's so 1980s. Why would you want to write it down, right? You got to go find it on a piece of paper later. You know how hard that is these days? Very hard, right? Even to go find, you know how many notebooks I have and journals? Right, I get it. So go ahead and do it now. It takes 60 seconds. I'm going to give it to you one last time. And I'm going to suggest that if you've been in a place and you felt overworked, you've been in a place and you felt like you don't have enough resources, you've been in a place where your bank account doesn't reflect how good you are, you've been in a place and you just needed to have the resources, you're ready. You're already in your purpose. Ain't no need to find no very freaking purpose right now. You don't got to find no freaking passion. You ain't got to believe nothing at all. Now it's all about resource. All that's over. The fact you showed up, you already believe. The fact you showed up, you already have a purpose. You're listening to me and saying, you know what, Shay? I just don't have the resources. I believe. I believe with you, okay? Here's what to do. Text the word school, SCHOOL, to 202. I'm sorry. Text the word school to 240-428-6333. Again, 240-428-6333. With that being said, I'm looking forward to connecting, looking forward to seeing you over at the BlackCEO Business School. Follow the instructions when you get the text. Follow the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to none other than the founder, the visionary, the person that only teaches in one place, that only releases his secret notes in one place. You only find the white papers really in one place. You're only able to ask questions in one place, and that is over at the BlackCEO Business School, where you can ask your questions and participate. With that being said, Trevor, turn it back over to you, my man.
Yep. So we're going to wrap it here. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what I want everybody to know is that BlackCEO Business School, this 9-day challenge, is very simple. It's about the development of resources. It's about discovery and development. For some of you, it's discovering your resources, the gifts, the talents, the skill sets. It's discovering it. For some of you, it's the development of what you already have. For some of you, you are looking for that third, that fourth, and that fifth iteration or wealth manifestation. And do we teach marketing in BlackCEO Business School? Absolutely. Do we teach branding? Absolutely. Do we teach sales? Absolutely. Do we teach automation and technology? Absolutely. Do we teach social media? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, these trainings have to operate in concert and alignment with your resources. And if it doesn't, it's not going to work. And that's why we start out with identifying the resource. That being said, for a few of you who are serious, meaning you are serious, if you're serious and you're listening, one, you can text us direct. Like you can text us direct. I'm going to take a few, five. That's going to be my representation of a few. We always take on a few mentees every year. We never take on more than 10. If you feel like you're a perfect fit for that, or you're dead serious about BlackCEO Business School, listen to the instructions that I'm going to give you. You can text in to 202-270-1662. 202-270-1662. That means, listen, you're serious. You just want to get to the front of the line. You just need to take that next big leap. That's you. I get it. I've been there. 202-270-1662. And I'll call you back right after this call. So that's that. Last but not least, let's just run back this quick recap. The opposite of wealth is not poor. The opposite of wealth is underdeveloped resources. Poor is just a reflection of what you did with those resources. Wealth is nothing more than the manifestation of resources developed. And an investment is the only path to wealth. Why? Because an investment represents a commitment to developing resources. The path to wealth always comes through investment. A fool is a person who wants to consume that which they've been given more than they want to work with what they have. A fool is the person who has no commitment to developing their resources. Thus, they'll never be wealthy. And that's why fooling and their money will soon be parted, or fooling their resources will soon be parted. A person who wants something for free and a fool is the same person, but that's not you. You are committed to developing your resources. BlackCEO Business School is a place where you can develop resources, develop your resources. If you don't have a place where you can develop your resources, BlackCEO Business School is the place that I recommend for you. Because a fool and a person who wants something for free is the same person. Listen, I want you to write this down. This is your final note for the day. Stop going through the back door of free with people that you value. Stop going through the back door of free with people that you value because it lacks integrity. Because it lacks integrity. And you think it's about the integrity that you show to that person. It really shows a lack of integrity as it pertains to developing your resources. You think it's about them when it's really about you. A person who wants something for free is consumptive. It means they don't want to commit to developing the resource, but they doggone sure want to commit to consuming the resource. Stop letting people consume your resources. Require an investment. Maybe it's monetary, maybe it's labor-based, but there is a requirement. Where there's an investment, where there's no investment, there's no appreciation. Where there's no appreciation, there's no stewardship. Where there's no stewardship, there's no access to more. You ain't getting any more than what you've already been given because you haven't done anything with what you already have. The Black CEO Revenue Challenge is about that commitment to developing resources. You committed to developing your resource, you text the word school. You see the number on the screen. Nothing needs to be said there. But if you're dead serious, you're like, this is my moment, you know the number, 202-270-1662, and we'll get back to you. Here's what I want to do in closing. Everybody. You are also a resource. Everybody put into the group, I am a resource. Everybody put into the comment section right now, put I am a resource. Everybody put I am a resource. And then we're going to improve upon that. First, put it in there. Everybody put I am a resource right now. Next. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to reintroduce yourself to all of these people that are watching. And there are thousands literally watching. We are syndicated right now to some 336 different groups. Mostly I never even realized it. You're just looking at the numbers on the page that you're on. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to reintroduce yourself. I am a resource that helps people or blank people do what or achieve what. So introduce them. So you are a resource that helps people do what? So in the comment section, I am a resource. So Shay Brown would say, I am a resource that helps entrepreneurs looking to develop more revenue, master the art of sales through developing their sales vision. That would be Shay. So you are a resource, but what type of resource? So now I want you to reintroduce yourself to the group right now. Introduce yourself as a resource. Then at the end of that, I want you to put, my name is, whatever your name is, first name or last name, and I'm from wherever you're from, and the name of my company is. My name is, I'm from wherever you're from, and the name of my company is. Introduce yourself as a resource. Why? Because you are a resource that can help them develop. See, you don't give yourself or your stuff away for free. You are a resource, and there's a commitment that is required from them, an investment required so that they can develop their resource, because they must invest in themselves at the level at which they expect results. You are allowing them the opportunity to invest in themselves through the products and services that you offer. You represent the investment in themselves. You represent the opportunity for them to develop their resources through their investment with you. But everybody has to have a commitment to develop resources. I'm all out of free, and so are you. ER, I'm going to give final closing comments to you. Shay, if you want to give some shout outs to some of the people who are now introducing themselves to the Black CEO Nation. And you can go ahead and give them some, we can just kind of introduce some of those people to our tribe, and then ER will give final closing thoughts to you, and we'll go ahead and get out of here. Mic check.
Mike, we sent to me, mic check. I barely hear. Say it one more time.
Don't worry about it. ER, take us to closing.
All right.
No worries, Shay. It wasn't a big deal.
Gotcha.
It was small.
To remember that we all have our individual resources. And so I see Sheila Tyson here. She says, I am a resource who helps people buy low-cost burial insurance, even those suffering with wealth challenges. We have Jay Marie saying, I am a resource who helps people fix their credit. My name is Jessica Cunningham. I am an Empowered Credit Solutions, and I am located in Milwaukee. We've got Denise Muhammad saying, I am a resource for women and men that need inspiration and help to make healthier lifestyles so that they can live more abundantly. We've got Cher Graham saying, I am a resource to encourage people to choose to create more positive behavior through making better choices. Keep it coming, because again, as Trevor stated, this is being syndicated in so many different places, and the development of the resources is also the recognition that we are resources to and with each other. And we constantly have to be reminded, if we remember nothing else, that all success in life doesn't have a dollar sign associated with it. However, through this revenue, hashtag BlackCEO revenue challenge, we'll be going through the manifestations of wealth, of which we know money is one of them, but it's not the first. Because what is our principle? That money is never the first manifestation of wealth. So we are excited. If you keep showing up every day, if you commit to yourself to develop your time and your energy to continually develop your mind, there will be a manifestation at the end, which will be very tangible for you. If you're interested in the BlackCEO Business School, make sure that you go ahead and text the keyword school to 240-428-6333. And there are a few individuals, Shay, that I'm sure are out there that are really, really wanting to get started right now. And go ahead and give them that number for you, and then we'll close out, Shay.
Okay, so I heard give them the number. The number to text to school is 240-428-6333. The number to text the word school to 240-428-6333, and then follow all of the instructions. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the way we like to close out. The way we like to close out anytime there's a BlackCEO event, anytime there's a BlackCEO speaker, anytime you join the BlackCEO training, one of the things we like to do is at the very end, we like to do hashtag BlackCEO out. Hashtag BlackCEO out. Now, how are we going to do that? How are we going to make a sound around the world? Well, here's how we're going to do it today. We're going to do it through a digital perspective. What you're going to do is you're going to head over to www.blackceotribe.com. Again, www.blackceotribe.com, or you can just look right below the video. Look right below the video right now, and you're going to type these words. You're going to type hashtag BlackCEO out. Now, it's all one word, hashtag BlackCEO out. Don't do it yet. Don't. No. You can start typing the word, but then I'm going to give the countdown, and then on count of 3, we're going to all do this together. We're going to do it.
If I might interrupt you, it's first, you got to give us your first name, where you're from, and then hashtag BlackCEO out. It's the first name, like, hey, Trevor Otts, National Harbor, Maryland, hashtag BlackCEO out.
Out.
You're rusty, Shay. You're rusty.
You're rusty. Yes. That's good. See, that's why it takes a team. That's why it takes a team. You can't do it all by yourself. So what you want to do is put your first name, put your last name, and where you're from, and then put a space and put a hashtag BlackCEO out. So go ahead right now as you get started. Like right now, I'm going on over. You're looking. Some of you are over at BlackCEOtribe.com. Some of you are waiting to get in. Others of you are looking right below the video, because that's what you can see right now. And you're going to go ahead and put your name. So I'm putting my name, Shay. That's C-H-E. You spell your name. Brown. I'm putting Washington, Washington, D.C. Now you do the same. And then I'm putting the hashtag BlackCEO out. Hashtag BlackCEO out. And then I'm going to give the countdown. Then when I give the countdown, you're going to hit the button. And we're all going to see your name, first name, last name, where you're from, and then the hashtag BlackCEO out. I'm going to count to 3. So you should be ready about right now. Now, you can do it on your cell phone. That's right. Look, whatever easiest for you. Just look below the video. Look right below the video and type this in. Here we go. On the count of 3. Are you ready? If you're ready, don't count with me. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do it. 1, that's a 1. 2, that's a 2. 3, hashtag, go ahead, hit the enter button. Hit the enter button.
Trevor Otts, National Harbor, Maryland, BlackCEO out. Put it in the comment section. Oh man, y'all guys are a hoot. Hey, we made it through, guys. There's a little bit of technical difficulties, but hey, we'll get better over these 9 days. But isn't it great to just take new leaps? Broadcast live on the podcast channel, broadcast to over 378 different syndicated spots, while simultaneously running a conference call at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's only technical difficulties when you're doing something that's never, ever been done before. I mean, it'd be different if there was like a blueprint and they said, okay, do step 1 and then do step 2 and then do step 3 and be able to coordinate 3 different locations at one time, but then make sure the sound goes to one conference call so people can hear. Make sure the sound goes to a podcast so they can hear. But, by the way, we got to make sure we show some slides. We got to show some other things. I'm thinking, I don't think it's ever been done. Like, seriously, okay, in the history of Facebook Lives and Facebook broadcasts, I don't think it's ever been done. So I don't know if we had technical difficulties as much as we were trailblazers.
Count on the happy entrepreneur
Right?
to get us repositioned. All right, well let's go out here and be some revenue champions. By the way, remember if you're serious or you want one of our mentee spots, text Shay Brown at 202-270-1662, 202-270-1662. You'll be interviewed. We'll determine if you are fit for us, but you also get a chance to determine if we are fit for you. Remember, we only take less than 10 people a year. And if you get an invite, you have 72 hours to respond to that invite, or it'll be rescinded. On that note, have a great, wonderful, and spectacular day.